Hello, everybody. How are you doing? This is Shirley with Shirley's Threadwork. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do appreciate it as always. Happy Tuesday and happy Wind Down Tuesday with Shirley's Threadwork. And I have my Stella Rosa Blackberry wine. Yeah, I like it. Hello, Andrea. Hi, Becky. Hi, Robin. How are you? I see I still have some people in the background that have not come in, but that's okay. I want to say hello to everybody that's watching, whether you're in the chat or not. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your support. Hello to my YouTube and Facebook group. And also hello to everybody that will be watching the replay. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Hi, Jenny. And how are you? How's everything going? Girl, whew, it is so cold. Mm, 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 mm. I hope you guys are managing to stay warm because it's cold everywhere. I don't think there's anybody in these United States that's having a warm day or night because I have seen so many people posting on Facebook showing the snow and the temperature and everything that is going on here and there and everywhere where people are just freezing and it's snow everywhere and all of that. Jenny says cold here in South Texas. Hey Leslie, how you doing? Hi Ann and hi Danielle. How are you? I know it's snowing in Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, especially the northern part of Florida. And where else? Philadelphia is cold. I've had, like I said, so many people that I've seen on Facebook and people that have texted and everything that were talking about the snow, sending pictures and everything. And I tell you, it is cold. That's all I got to say. And I had to get out there today. But I made it. I managed. I made sure I put on enough clothes. And I got out there and cleaned off my car and started it up and ran an errand, came on back, and been inside ever since. And if it's the Lord's will, I'll be inside all day tomorrow. Won't get out here in this cold weather. I'm hoping so much that it will eventually warm up. I looked at the forecast, and it is supposed to get a little warmer around Thursday, Friday. Uh, so that's good news because this frigid temperature is very dangerous and it's no fun. I am not a cold or snow lover. That ain't me. Hi, Kara. How you doing? You said we are in Montana. Have really been teasing my sister who lives in New Orleans. Yeah, they got snow in New Orleans, girl, and she got 10 inches of snow today. I saw that. I saw that New Orleans got snow. I didn't know it was 10 inches, but I did know that they got snow. Oh my word. 10 inches of snow in New Orleans. I know they about to go crazy. What a blessing for the South to get snow. They get a chance to see what we've been going through. Now, I have to tell you, when I lived in the South, I lived in Mississippi for 16 years, although I was from Missouri. So I was very familiar with cold weather and ice and snow and all of that. But when I got down there, for the whole time that I was down there, we had no snow. We had no snow and it didn't get very cold. If you wore a coat at all, it was a light jacket and everything. So you really weren't exposed to cold weather. Because I remember when we left Mississippi, me and my children, they had not seen snow ever in their lives until we moved to St. Louis, back to my hometown, and brought them to St. Louis to finish growing up and going to school and high school and everything. And I remember the time when they got out and played in the snow for the first time ever. They were just so ecstatic to see snow and rip and run and play in the snow. And I'm looking at the snow like, yeah, we back in this again. So snow is okay, but when it hangs around as long, we've had snow on the ground, I know 2, 3 weeks now, and at least 2 or 3 weeks. Enough is enough. It's time for the snow to go home. Okay. And Leslie, you said it was cold, 15 degrees when you went to walk at Potomac Mills this morning. You got the snow off your car last night, and those lazy folks don't get the snow from the top of the car and they make you mad. Yeah. Well, I tried my best to get the snow off the top of my car. I'm short, couldn't reach it, did the best I could. But for some reason, it didn't go. I know you're talking about how it just blows off the car and runs in your face and falls down and all that kind of stuff, blows back on the car behind you and stuff. I don't know if my car did that or not. I'm guilty if it did because I can't reach the top of my car. I tried. I honestly did reach up there and try to brush off as much as I could. But honestly, I couldn't get all the snow off from up there. So maybe some of the people are like me, they just can't reach it. I don't know. But I feel you. I hear you. I know exactly what you're talking about because it is irritating when you're driving and then all that big old plate of ice and snow falls into your face and everything. Yeah, the snow is a dangerous projectile. It really is. I feel you. I understand exactly what you're saying. Yes, I do. That's one reason why I'm just hoping it melts away pretty soon. I think it's supposed to maybe even get up into the 40s before the week is out. And if that's the case, I hope it melts most of the snow. I hope because I'm ready for this white stuff to disappear. I don't like snow and ice and frigid weather. But anyway, that's just my rant. It is what it is. It is winter. I know that. And with winter comes cold weather and snow, and we just have to deal with it. And you get a little spoiled because we really haven't had any bad winter weather here in several years. You know, we get a day or two of snow, a day or two of real, real cold, and it's over with, and that's it. So, we got spoiled. We haven't had weeks of bad weather in a long time. We haven't even had, to my memory, we haven't had anything like this in, oh my goodness, several years, several years. But anyway, so like I said, I hope everybody's fine and surviving this weather, and I'm just hoping everything just kind of blows over and everything. So tonight's topic is what I was going to talk about last week, and I did not get the stuff that I had hoped to get, but I did get it. I have it. I was expecting something else that didn't come that I thought was going to be really good to show you guys, but it doesn't matter. It's no big deal. I do have something. Talking about the color wheel, or basically, really, how to coordinate your colors when you are trying to put together materials for quilting, pretty much. I'm sure most of you probably know that I put 2 videos up this week, whenever it was, last week, over the weekend, whenever it was, about the AccuQuilt, which I got an AccuQuilt during the holiday. And I finally opened it, looked at it, played with it, looked at some videos, figured out how it works. And I feel pretty comfortable with it now. And the reason for that was to be able to start doing some quilting. Now, I'm not going to become a quilter. That's not going to happen. I will always be an embroiderer. I do want to dabble in some quilting. I want to dabble in a little bag making. I want to dabble into uh, some garment sewing, a little of those things, not a lot, but I want to hone my skills in some of those areas and become more proficient. So I decided to go ahead and invest in the AccuQuilt because my biggest one of the main things that I didn't like about the prospect of quilting was cutting out all of those pieces, cutting them out and putting them together. Never made sense to me. I'm be honest about it. But once you do it, it's not that bad. And once you complete it, you're actually proud because usually it turns out to be a really cute project and something that you can be proud of. So I decided to go ahead and give it a try. And I remember Leslie telling me I was going to get the quilting bug. And I don't have the bug yet, but I do have the interest. But I went on and got the AccuQuilt because my main thing, like I said, besides the pieces and putting them together and everything, was the cutting. Not being able to cut things straight. And if you know anything at all about quilting, from everything that I've seen and read and experienced, if you don't cut your fabric correctly, then your design is not going to come out right. You're not going to be able to make that quilt is not going to look the way you want it to look. You're not going to get those points. And that's what makes the beauty of the quilt when you can get your points together. If you can get those points to line up, then you got it made. And I definitely wanted to make sure that I was able to cut correctly, get the strips, get the shapes, all those things done correctly. And in order to do that, for me, I felt like either it would have to be an AccuQuilt or the scanning cut. Now, I do have the scanning cut. I've not used it to cut fabric yet, but I intend to do that. I'm going to, try that out as well. But I'm very pleased with what I've seen so far with the AccuQuilt. So with that being said, the next challenge, which I have seen, and not so much for myself, but with some of the other people that I've interfaced with, is putting colors together, the actual fabric that you need in order to make a quilt. Especially if you stop and think about or visualize when you go into a quilt shop, or even when you go and look at quilts that have already been made, or you see the quilts online and what have you, they're usually made with lots of color and printed fabric combined with printed fabric. And people tend to have issues with that. People tend to um, not know how to put those things together. So that's the reason why I decided that I would talk a little bit about the color wheel, because using a color wheel to put colors together is one of the best ways to make sure that your quilt is going to turn out beautiful, even though you have selected tons of fabric that have multiple prints and different colors, and you're meshing this all together. Because like I said, I know people that just cannot put print on print, and it just drives them crazy. He's trying to do it. And it's easier to put print and solid. That's a quick and easy thing. Or solids and solids. That's pretty good. Most people do that pretty good. But when you're putting print and print together, it seems to throw people. So that's why I wanted to talk about the color wheel. And I'm positive that all of us know what a color wheel is, but just in case, this is a color wheel. This is one version of a color wheel. Turn it this way, as it says, color wheel. And that's what it looks like. Now, a color wheel helps you to get all of your colors together and line them up and all of that. So I'm going to give you some basics about the color wheel itself. And it says that a color wheel is an indispensable tool for quilters. Now, I don't know how many of you guys use a color wheel. Do any of you use a color wheel for picking out your fabrics, or do you just go into the fabric store, quilt shop, or what have you, and start picking fabric that you like, or do you just buy fat quarter bundles that someone else has already put together for you, which is a really easy way of doing it if you can find it. But if you're like me, I don't have a quilt shop close by that already has bundles put together. And the ones that I have visited, those things are extremely expensive. You can pay $80 or more for a bundle of fat quarters. Maybe you have 16 fat quarters in there, and that puppy costs you $80. That's a lot of money. And you don't want to mess that fabric up because that's right at $100 right there that you got to take home and cut up. So you need your actual quilt. But anyway, if you actually go in and you start picking fabrics off a bulk, which is less expensive, especially if you have some place like a Joann or a Hobby Lobby or some place like that where you can get some of the lesser expensive fabrics, especially if you're starting off new like me. And what is recommended and suggested, if you're new to quilting, it is recommended that you don't invest in the higher end product of fabrics because you don't want to mess up a $80 bundle of fat quarters. I know I don't. I would rather pay 30, 40, or less if possible for my fabric. So if for some reason I mess it up, that investment has not been that much. So let me see before I get too far. I want to keep up with what everybody's saying. And you said you cut out Hunter Star out of my AccuQuilt. Would never cut the pieces without that. I cut out my Hunter Star out on my, or maybe you meant I put out my Hunter Star out on my AccuQuilt and would never cut the pieces without that. And when you say Hunter Star, I'm assuming you are referring to some type of um, color wheel, and I was looking to see if I had what you're talking about. I'm not sure because I have a couple of them here that I'm going to show you. But is that what you're referring to, a particular type of color wheel? I think that's what you are. And you said I have the cover. You have a color wheel, but you never used it. And Robin said, I don't. I pick a focal fabric, and the rest of the fabrics are based on the colors in that. Although I do buy fat quarter bundles. Okay. Well, the fat quarter bundles, like I said, are one of the easiest way of doing it because someone else has already picked and put the fabrics together. Now, for me, it takes me a minute to pick a fat quarter bundle. And one of the reasons for that is I don't always like all of the fabric in the bundle. uh, Especially if you're picking it offline. If you're lucky enough to have a quilt shop or something where you can actually go in and touch and feel and all of that, then it makes it a little bit easier because I do have a quilt shop that I can go to occasionally. But oftentimes when I'm looking at the bundles and things online, it's kind of hard to make a decision because I'll be honest about it, I don't always like all of the fabric that is included in that particular bundle. And it throws me a little bit. But and you said Hunter Star is a quilt pattern. Okay. Uh, a Hunter Star is a quilt pattern, and I have the die. Okay. All right. I'm still not sure what that is, but thanks for the clarification. So back to the color wheel. The basic color relationship of a color wheel are primary colors. And this is going back to kind of elementary school, just for everybody's refresher. Primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. And they form the foundation because all other colors are formed from those primary colors. Your secondary colors are green, orange, and purple. and they are created by mixing primary colors. Tertiary colors are made by combining primary and secondary colors like yellow green or red purple. So everything relates back to your primary and your secondary colors. If you keep that in mind, it makes it easier for you to be able to pick out fabrics. Just like Robin says, she has a focal fabric color, a main your main color, be it red. Then you use your color wheel or whatever, your vision or whatever, and you pick out colors that work well with red. Whether it's complementary, monochrome, chromatic, or analogy. And I'm going to tell you what those are. When you are selecting your fabrics, the complementary fabrics are the ones that are directly opposite each other on the wheel, like red and green, and they create a strong contrast and can make your quilt vibrant. Like we all know, red and green is Christmas colors. Why is that? Because it works so well together, and that's why they put it together. So let me get my color wheel so I can point this out when I say directly across. And I know you probably can't see it as clear as I would like for you to see it, but I'm going to try. My finger right here is on the red. This is red on the color wheel. And if you look straight down where my finger is here, that is green. So let me back up and see if you can see. You can see where the color wheel says red and green. They're directly across from each other. Those are called complementary colors. If the color is directly across from it, it complements each other. That's what they're saying. So that's a complementary color. Now it gets a little complicated. Analogy colors or analogous colors, these sit next to each other on the wheel, like blue and blue-green and green. So here again, color wheel, I have something, a pointer. See if I can be in school. Where am I? This is green, where my pencil is here. And here is blue green, and here is blue. These are considered complementary color. So I mean, um, analogous colors. You have your blue green, and your green. So those colors work well together. You can always put them together. Monochromatic colors, we pretty much know what monochromatic colors are. Using different shades or tints and tones of a single color. And you can use this in your quilt and make a very cohesive look. Perfect example would be, look at this column of green here. Trying to get the pencil to go straight down and up. Those are your monochromatic colors because all of them have some degree of green. The lighter the green is, it has been combined with white. The dark, the mid dark is combined with gray, and the darkest one is combined with black. So those are how you get your tints and your tones. Now you say, okay, all of that, it can get to be confusing, and what are you talking about? And some of this stuff we did learn in elementary school, and all of your primary colors and your crayons and all that kind of stuff. I remember that. But it's important to remember that when you're trying to put colors together, especially when you're trying to put prints together. And that is the main issue that I think a lot of people have. Putting solid colors together is not a big deal, usually. It's putting prints when you have a piece of fabric that has more than one color in it. Which color do you pull out as the focal color in order to put other things with to make it look cohesive? That's what you have to think about. Now, you also have uh, triadic colors. And these are evenly spaced around the wheel like the primary colors, and they offer vibrant yet balanced combinations. And so that's easy. If you get your color wheel, like what I have, this one illustrates the colors and the relationships and the harmonies. And it will tell you the relationship of the colors and how they work. It describes what's harmonious, what's monochromatic, what is analogous, all of that. Complementary, split complementary, triad, and tetrad. All of those big words, all of that complicated stuff, just to tell you you need to put your blues together, your greens together, your reds, your yellows, and if you mix them up, that's what you're going to come out with. That is the purpose of using a color wheel. Now, I think that I have a good eye for colors. I don't normally use a color wheel, but what I did notice that when I was trying to put together fabrics that are printed, and let me show you a perfect example of printed fabric that you might want to think about. This is some fabric that I purchased a while back to put together. Now you see I have two prints, and hopefully you can see I have this checkered blue and white, and the blue has different shades of blue in it. Different the checkered. This one here has different shades of blue and white, and then this flowered color has different shades of blue, but it also has white and it has some yellow in it. Now I don't know what you guys think, but to me, I think this works really well together. I I like how it looks. Do you guys like how it looks together? Would you make a quilt out of these fabrics put together and not feel like it's overbearing in colors or patterns? Let me know. Give me a comment. Let me know what you think. Here's a different example using greens. Now, again, I have prints and prints that I chose. This is in the green family. It's like a green and white Swiss polka dot, I guess, and then the flowered that has greens and grays and reds and shades of pink, different shades of green. It has several different shades of colors in it. But as you can see, the primary color is green. Andrea, you said you wouldn't, and I know you wouldn't because you are one of my special people that I know have trouble putting prints together. You're just one of them. You're not the only one. But I knew that you would have an issue with that because you don't put prints together. And when you're doing quilting, if you stop and think about most of the quilts that you see have prints. Now, Robin said they go together. Yes. And you like them together. I think that they're really cute, to be honest about it. Now, this one is a little easier because of the fact that, oh, you can't see this too well. You can't see these colors too well because of the lighting. I hate that. I'm sorry. Because I'm not seeing that, picking this up. But this is pink. These are pink. And I got the pink and yellow and white daisy looking flowers. And then the solid, I call it more of a solid color because this does have specks of colors in it. But in actuality, for me, I don't consider it can be considered a print, but I consider it more of a solid because it doesn't have a lot of motion in it, a lot of movement in it. So those are just some ideas of different prints and colors and stuff that you can put together, but they do fall in line with a color wheel. Now, I did not pick out those fabrics using a color wheel. I picked out those fabrics based upon how I liked the way that they looked together. But if I was to go and put it up against the color wheel, I would see that it works very well together because it may even be considered, especially the green, could almost be considered monochromatic because it falls on that color wheel very nicely down the spectrum. Now, I do have one that I picked um, a while back when I thought I was going to make a quilt before I made the quilt that even to this day I have issues with because I'm not 100% sure that I like it together, even though it works on the color wheel. Now I know Andrea, you're gonna have a heart attack when you look at this, if you can see it. Now, you guys let me know what do you think about this fabric. The top fabric is, let me take this off so you can see it. The top fabric is more pink and but it does have blue in it and white. And the bottom fabric is more blue with white and kind of some yellow in it. Now, um, Andrea, you cracking me up. All right, girl. Now, Robin, you said goes together. Andrea said, "Oh my God." She said, "No, no, 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 no." She would not put. She would not put this together to save her neck. I already knew that. I I hesitated a little bit when I got this, and I got this plus four different fabrics to go into one quilt. Uh, yes, I can see them together. That's what uh, Robin is saying. Robin said she can see this together. I can see this together as well because they work on the color wheel. They do work opposite each other on the color wheel. So if you look at pink, let me find some pink here. If I can find pink is red and white. Red mixed with white rather. I don't see pink on here nowhere. Let me look at this other color wheel. I'm trying to figure out, and I don't know if you can see it, where my finger is here is the pink, and this finger is the blue. And it's on the triad, which is 4 colors over, which would be considered a triad. That would put these together. So it works on the color wheel, the triadic. These are evenly spaced around the wheel like the primary colors, and they offer a vibrant yet balanced combination. So if you were to look at this, if you were to look at this, then you would see that it works. So Uh, and hi, Joyce. How you doing? Joyce, you said, I'm not a fan of that combination. Jenny said, oh, no. Leslie said, what's wrong with y'all? And then Andrea said, thank you, Leslie. So Leslie is agreeing with me if I understand her correctly. So you need to be thanking Joyce, Andrea, because Joyce hates it. She don't like it either. And I have to tell you, out of all the fabric that I purchased, when I got these 2 pieces, I was on the fence and still on the fence. It's not my favorite, but I did ask around a lot of people and they thought that it worked together. Now, what this tells me, it works on the color wheel. It's, in my opinion, which is probably the same thing that you guys are saying, it's busy, very busy. And Joyce, you said it's the size of the print that you're not favoring. Gotcha. It's busy. Um, I would not and could not make an entire quilt out of this fabric. It would drive me crazy. It's too busy. But it does work together. So it's going to be differing opinions. And the best thing to do is follow your guts and follow what makes you comfortable. There are rules in putting colors together, but the main rule is, what do you really like? You can do something that is way out like this and love it, but you have to live with it. And again, like I said, for me, I could not, under no circumstances, make an entire quilt out of these 2 pieces of fabric. It would drive me to drink. I ain't gonna tell no tale about that. I would not be happy because it is very busy, and but it does work according to the color chart. Now, here's some that is less um, bold, I guess would be the best word for it. Again, in that family, but not as striking. The patterns are smaller, Joyce. It's not as busy, in my opinion, not as bold. For me, these work really well together, and I would be happy with something like this. And I think I have one more, which is very similar, and that would be this. Very similar to the one that I just showed you, the blue and the pink. And it's not, it looks like it on the camera, baby blue and baby pink, but it's not. It's closer to the teal color in rose color, but it looks much lighter on this camera, like it's baby blue or whatever. But those are some colors that I picked, and I picked this fabric at Joann sometime last year. And all 6 pieces that I picked them to go into one quilt. And out of all 6 pieces, the 2 pieces that got the most reactions from you guys is the one that I was on the fence with as well. I liked it. I wasn't in love with it, but it worked. Now, let me see. Hey, Marissa, how you doing? Hey, Carol. My guts tells me not to get not to get into quilting. Why, Carol? Why? And Leslie, you say it may work with the chart, but visually not so much. And you're right. It's a matter of taste. It is definitely a matter of taste. And I have seen, to be honest about it, I have seen some quilt with worse combinations than that. And when you look at it all finished, you're like, dang, that ain't too bad. But if you look at the fabric individually, it kind of makes you wonder. It reminds me of, and specifically, Leslie, I'm going to uh, direct this at you because you and I both have done some projects using African fabric. And African fabric, and I should have brought some out, but African fabric is very vibrant and colorful, as we know. And I have a purse that I did. I might get it. I have a purse that I did that I used it completely with African fabric jelly rolls and all kinds of different colors. And I put it together, and the end result is cute. It took me a minute to pick through all of these different colors and stuff that I had to put something together that I thought would work and not really clash. But you got numerous of prints. And I know, if I'm not mistaken, Leslie, um, you have a quilt that you made out of African print, which is lovely. I like it a lot, but it's very colorful because those are the colors in African fabric. So once you put things together, they tend to work. And you said that combination is like AKA color. Not exactly. It's not a real pink and a real green like the AKA. It looks like that on the camera, but it's not a real true green and pink. It's more of a uh, I don't want to say teal, aqua, something along that line. A mixture between a teal and an aqua, and the pink is a mixture of a hot pink and a some other kind of pink. And Marissa, I love your aqua quilt machine. I can't wait to see what quilt we are going to make. Well, I'm trying to figure out which fabric I'm going to cut. That's one of the things, one of the reasons why I haven't cut anything yet, because I was trying to figure out in my stash what I have, what do I want to cut out to make a quilt with, and how it's going to look. And I know the fabrics that I showed you, I have enough of that to actually make a small quilt. But I'm thinking that I'm going to make something out of some of the fabrics that I showed at first, like this combination or this combination, because to be perfectly honest about it, I know Andrea, you can't stand it, but I love these two. These are I like this combo. These are pretty to me. These work well. They're not overbearing to me. I like this combination a lot. The other ones, I have to tell you, I felt kind of pressured because I know I've talked to you guys about my Joanne, which is officially closed now, I think. They did not offer a lot to choose from. And when I went in looking to try to put a quilt together, I didn't have a color wheel. I didn't know what colors I wanted. And I tried to come up with something that I thought that worked. And the two fabrics that has the loudest prints that several of you don't like, um, was an iffy. It was working and it wasn't working. I got it anyway because I wasn't quite sure if it would work or not. And that's probably one of the reasons why I haven't cut anything out or made anything out of it because I wasn't 100% on board with it. And now that I've gotten you guys' reactions from it, I I know that my hesitancy was somewhat justified. But yes, it is busy. But I do know that it does work with the color wheel and that I do believe that if it is strategically placed in a quilt correctly, that it could turn out to be really nice. So what I probably will end up doing is waiting until I am a lot more comfortable with putting quilts together before I tackle that uh, piece of fabric and try to incorporate it in a quilt because you really need to kind of know what you're doing. But I'm going to see if I can't find this African purse because I want to bring it up to show you how putting a lot of strange colors together does work. So hold on. Okay. I don't know if you guys remember seeing we did um, totes, quilted totes. My very, 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 very first attempt at quilting anything. And I chose, this is Quilt As You Go, and I chose to do my tote in African print. Now, these pieces of fabric all came from one jelly roll that I got from, uh, what is it, Soul Creation that sells African print. I think that is the name of it. But all of this came out of one jelly roll. I used what was in that jelly roll. Now look how vibrant the fabrics are, and it's a lot of it's busy. It is truly busy. It's a lot. It's a lot. So you can put strange prints together. You can definitely put strange prints together and they work. It just has to do with how you place them because what I did, I took the strips that I had and I laid them out and looked at the colors and how they blended together. And then that's how I decided to stitch them together. And so it took a minute to just kind of piece it through, but I'm getting all of these people, people saying it's pretty. Yeah, so creative lounge. That's it. Thank you, Leslie. And beautiful, pretty, all of that. You guys are liking the way it looks. I like the way it looks. I think it turned out really cute. Um, but it's got a lot of busy colors in it. It's a lot. Um, Excusable, I guess, because we do know what African print looks like, and the fact that you're going to have a lot of different colors. But what that also means, it doesn't have to be African print. It can be any print that you put together. It's just making sure you know how to put these colors together. So it goes back to the ones that I had with the very busy prints in there. If it is strategically placed in between the other fabrics, it could very much work and turn out to be really pretty. Like if you're doing one of these stars or pinwheels or something and you have all of these less bold colors around, and then you have that strong color in the middle or something along that line, it could turn out to look very, very good in your blocks when you're doing your blocks. It could turn out to be really pretty. It could. I don't know. And beautiful. I have African fabric straight from Africa, and you inspired me to get it out and sew and quilt. Okay, yes. Do that because I love African fabric. I have some more. I don't have enough to make a quilt with. And this, when I mention expensive, their fabric is expensive. Um, I believe the Jelly Roll had 42 strips in it, and I know that it was 50 some odd dollars for the Jelly Roll. I still have quite a few strips left. I mean, I can make another purse or something out of it. I got enough strips left to make a project of some kind, so I could get two projects out of that. So that's not a big deal. But in order to, and I do have some fat quarters I got from them, but I know I don't have enough fat quarters that I got from So Creative Lounge, like Leslie said. That's the name of the website that I got, or the company that I got the fabric from. They sell beautiful African fabric if anybody's interested in it. But yes, it is not inexpensive, and it does come from Africa as well. But it is a challenge to put them together. Now, it tells you to experiment with the value and intensity of your fabric, which is back to what I was saying about the lightness or darkness of color. Like the other colors that Leslie said looks like AKA color and what have you, the pinks and the blues and those different shades. And the other one was more of a teal and a rose. The pinks and the blues are light, the teal and the rose is dark. But it says you can combine the different values and add depth and dimension to your quilt. You can have the bright and the dull, and mix the bright with the muted colors and add interest. And what they suggest is that you audition your fabric, like I mentioned about how I did this tote. You lay out your fabric choices and use the color wheel to see how they interact. Or you lay out your colors and you look at it and see how it makes you feel. Do you like the way those combinations look? Do you feel like this is something that you could live with? Like I know, like Andrea and Joyce and who else? Jenny. You guys like, oh no, I can't deal with that fabric. Yeah. So you would lay that out and you would just say, no, this ain't working for me. So if it's not working for you, then you don't use that fabric. You don't buy that fabric, or you use it for something else, or you don't combine it. That's another thing. I have the option of not combining those fabrics together. I could combine those fabric with something else that perhaps would work better. Who knows? I haven't even tried that. Oh, what the heck did I do with it? Oh, here it is over here. I guess I just took it and pitched it. So what could I put this with that would make it work better and not be so unattractive? Let's see if I can do that. Not like that. Okay. Look at this. This changed the whole story. These two work together, in my opinion. They're less intimidating. They're less bold, and there's not as much competition against each other. If that's one way of looking at it. So I could certainly change the orientation of these two because I don't know about you guys. Let me know. Give me your opinion. I think these two work better than the other pink that I had put with it. That's one. So let me see. don't like that. So what do you guys think about this and this? I think these work pretty decent. What do you think? These two work together, and the other two work together better than putting the two together that I had put with it. So that, in my opinion, and see, Robin, you said yes. I personally think that the fabric that you guys didn't like together works, but just with another fabric, and it looks nice. So I could still put both of those prints in the same quilt, just not bumped up against each other. See what I'm talking about? It's playing with, it's what they call auditioning your fabric. You lay your fabric out and you move it around and you decide what works best and what the looks are. So you can use um, strange patterns and prints and what have you together. It's just that what's pleasing to the eye. And again, like Leslie says, it might work on the color chart, on the color wheel rather, but is it pleasing to the eye? And the way you find out if that's the case, then you audition your fabric and you move it around. If you're going to buy the fabric, if you're going to pull from your own stash, those of you that have stashes, like, I have quite a few um, fat quarters and what have you, or half yards of fabric and stuff. I don't have bolts of fabric, but I have half yards of fabrics and fat quarters and what have you that I can cut into squares and stuff and piece together and maybe even make a quilt. But what you do, you pull them out, you look at them, you put them side by side, you lay it out and kind of have in your mind how you're going to make this work. And you look at your color chart. This is a different type of color wheel. This is called So Easy. Um, the 3 easy steps to choose your colors: place, point, and pick. You can put your colors up in here in your wheel. Let me see if I can find a pink or something. And um, I'm not 100% sure exactly how that's going to work, but it gives you an opportunity to look at the colors that you would want to match it up with to see how that's going to look. If I wanted to put this with a blue, and see, I have it with a blue, or I can have it with a purple, or the pinks, or even with a yellow, which I personally would not put this with a yellow to save my neck. I wouldn't put it with a green to save my neck. But any of the tones of blues, the tones of pinks and stuff, it would work. But this is called the So Easy Color Wheel. You place your color wheel right side up onto the fabric or swatch of color you would like to match it with so that it shows through the window, and pick the shade around the window which is the closest to your sample. Point the indicator. Is there another piece to this? Nope. Point the indicator. Oh, okay. This is the indicator. This little thing moves in the middle. Point the indicator to choose the combination complementary colors that are opposite on the color wheel. Split complementary colors that either side of and includes the complementary, your triad or your tetrad. And then you pick the color that will work together. So you would put the color here, and then you would turn this and point it to the different colors that you're going to put it with to get an idea of what it's going to look like. So this is another type of color wheel that you could use and to help you decide if something works together. They also said that you need to balance your colors and try to place balance warms, which are reds and orange and yellows, and your cools, which are blue, greens, and purple. Balance those colors out, and then use small amount of an access color, which is an unexpected color to draw attention and create focal points. An access color is like an access wall that people paint in their house. Like they can have a room that is, say, beige, and then have one wall that's brown that pops out at you, or a rust color, or something like that that just kind of pops out at you. When I was in my house back during the early 2000s, uh, I had the house built in 98. So between 98 and I would say the mid 2000s, color blocking was really popular. And I had my living room and dining room and my hallway, because I had a real tall foyer. And I had a color block. And I think I had two or three, at least three colors, three different colors family, in the same family. And I had the rooms in various colors, and it was color block. And it turned out gorgeous. Now, people ain't color blocking right now. So whoever got the house probably painted it something different. But back in that particular thing, color blocking was considered the thing. Now, they say, how do you use a color wheel to match up colors for quilting when you're dealing with fabrics that are multicolored prints? You have to pick, just like Robin said, your dominant color. Identify your dominant color and choose the most prominent colors in the multi-print. These will be your main focal when matching. So basically, say for instance, this one, which is a lot of print, my dominant color is this pink because you got more of that. The flowers are not the dominant color. The background color is your dominant color. And that's usually how it is when you're dealing with print, unless you're dealing with a paisley like this. Now, I pulled this out the other day to do some practice on strip cutting, and I have to tell you what I said. What the heck was I thinking when I got this fabric? I did. That's exactly what I said. I bought this fabric about 4 years ago, and here Robin said, I love paisley. I like paisley too. But it doesn't move me now like it moved me back when I bought it. When I bought this, I thought it was gorgeous. Now that I look at it, like I said, when I looked at this fabric the other day, when I pulled it out, I was like, what in the world was I thinking? But I got this right here. But let me tell you what I did. I cut out some 2.5 inch squares of just a random piece of scrap that I had. And when I cut it out, I realized, I said, oh, that ain't bad. That's not bad. And that was just random. I was not trying to put these together, but they actually look cute together. No big deal. And Andrea, I am so surprised. Carol, you said, "Oh, I like that." Andrea said, "I like that." Robin said, "I love that paisley." You guys love this paisley, and I'm asking myself, was I drunk when I bought this fabric? Would you make a quilt with that fabric? And if you did, what else would you put with it? What color would you think that you would put with it? Looking at it for me right off the bat, I would put green. It has green in it. I would try. I think I would pull out the green, as we say, pull out. I would pull out that green color, greenish color. It doesn't look green on the screen, but it is a green. I think that's what I would pull out. Or the lavender. But it's what you like. It's what you like. What are complementary combinations? They have some examples here, just to give you an idea. Robin say yes, lavender, teal, or pink. Okay, you like that. Everybody is kind of liking the paisley. Leslie, you said, what about the salvage on the fabrics that have the colored dot circles that will be complementary to the fabric? What about the salvage on the fabrics that have the colored dot circles that will be complementary to the fabric? I don't know if I understand your question, Leslie. Now, Ann, you said, I lay out printed fabric and add the fabric that matches the color in the printed fabric. Yes, I do that too. Um, Usually, it would be a solid or semi-solid color. And what that means, what I mean when I say solid or semi-solid, I mean something like a batik, something that doesn't have a lot of print to it, that it looks more leaning towards a solid color, even though it may not be solid, like this pink, which you guys can't really tell, I don't think. Maybe maybe you can see it tends to have some specks of color in it, but it's pink and with some specks of rose or something. To me, this is more on the spectrum of a solid color because there's not a lot of print in it, big bold prints. And so this to me would be something that you could put almost with anything that works with pink because it's not, in my opinion, going to clash a lot as it would if it was something like this with other colors in it, or even this pink with other colors in it. For me, uh, I consider this is a true print. The color dot is good for matching fabrics. Yes. Um, so I'm trying to think. Now these color dots, if that's what you're saying, I'm not sure because these color dots are white. So white is a neutral color. It could be an accent color, but white and black, as you know, and gray are considered neutral colors. Complementary colors, teal and coral, are considered complementary colors. Purple and yellow. Purple is dominant. Use a multicolor print featuring purple. Coral complement. Choose solid color fabrics or prints with coral accent to create a striking contrast. And with teal, select a multicolor print with teal as the main color. And that's exactly how I would do it. Yellow, you would pair it with a bright yellow fabric to make both colors pop. Orange, blue and orange. Blue could be dominant. Pick a color print with blue as the key color and then complement it with an orange fabric to make it vibrant. And then it goes on down. It talks about blue, green to blue, yellow to green, red to orange, and so forth and so on, like that. So when you're picking out your colors, you really need to do that. And Leslie, you say yes, and the color dots on the salvage. Oh, okay, the color dots on the salvage. The color dots on my salvage are white. They are white. Okay. I think I have what you're talking about, Leslie. And I don't think these are on all fabrics, but this is a good example, if I'm not mistaken, of what you're talking about. Let me know if that's what you're saying. The color dots on the salvage. So these different, uh, the dots on the salvage up here are telling you what the colors are that would work well with this paisley. Is that what you were saying? Because um, and then they have the numbers on here. I guess the number, if you're going to get this particular fabric, if you're going to buy this fabric, which is David Textile, um, is the name of the company. So if I was going to make a quilt out of this or something, then it would behoove me to take this salvage with me to wherever I bought it or where I'm going to shop and then try to find colors that match these dots. They are on most fabrics. I thank you guys for putting that up there. I had not really thought about that because all of my fabric does not have color dots. I'm looking at salvage and I don't see any color dots. So I want to say, and I might be wrong. I don't have a salvage on these here, but I'm going to look. I'm going to start looking for the dots are the colors on the fabric. I got it, Ann. I think that's what you guys are talking about. And if you guys are not aware of the dots that are on the salvage, thank you so much, Leslie, for pointing that out because I never really thought about that. And it should be on most of the fabrics that you buy, especially if you're buying fabric out of a quilt shop, because they're usually the higher end fabric. Now, this fabric that I have in my hand, I'm almost certain I either bought this from Walmart or Joann's because I know I bought this fabric during the pandemic to make masks and stuff out of. And yes, indeed, I have a mask made out of this fabric. Because when I saw this fabric, for some reason at that particular time, I thought this was some beautiful pieces of beautiful fabric, and I bought it. I bought quite a bit of it, and this is all I have left. But I'm surprised. It says the fabric that I used for my tree had dots on them, and you use that for your backing. That is an excellent recommendation, suggestion. I'm glad that you mentioned it because that will help all of us that are trying to get into quilting. And we want to make sure that we pick fabric that works. If you look at the dots on your salvage, that can be a huge help. If you are buying from a particular brand, like you do usually in a quilt shop, then they can help you pick out that fabric. But keep in mind, which is very important, be true to yourself. Be true to what you like. Be true to the colors that speak to you. Now, I know you guys are looking and you say, oh, Shirley love teal and pink. I do. That's my branded color. But those aren't the other only colors that I like. My favorite color, in all honesty, is red. But I don't see myself sleeping in a red bed or with red covers or anything like that. I like to wear the color red, although I don't have a whole lot of red because what I tend to do is try to get away from the stuff that I like a lot because I don't want to just overwhelm myself with the same color. Like some people will wear the same color and that's all they wear. Like Frankie Beverly wore white, 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 white as he performed. Lisa Ray, she wears white. She don't wear nothing else. There are certain people that will not. There's somebody that wears black all the time. They won't put nothing else on but black. I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want to just get a particular color and everything that I put on is that. I did that once upon a time when my colors were more the warm, like the browns, and I noticed my wardrobe was very brown, and that's very boring. And I pushed myself away from that, and then I fell into the reds. And I started finding that everything I saw, I gravitated towards was red. So I started pushing myself away from that because I like colors and I like to mix things up. So I don't really have per se anything that I'm going to exclude, except for I'm not a big fan of orange. I'm not a huge fan of certain greens, and I'm not a huge fan of certain yellows. But uh, orange is the one color that I probably have the least of anything for some reason. I don't know. And my best girlfriend, that's her favorite color. That's kind of funny. But anyway, Leslie, you say you once bought fabric at a quilt show and didn't have enough, but it had the name of the company and you found more on Etsy. Good idea. Good idea. If you're buying branded fabric, then make sure when you cut the salvage off to keep that salvage and keep a swatch so you know what that color is. So if you want to get more of that fabric, you can maybe be lucky enough to do like Leslie did and find it somewhere else because you have the name of it. And if you have the dots, you probably not only have the name, but you have the color and you may have the number that goes along with that color, which will help you be able to get more of that particular fabric with the hopes that the dye is the same and the fabric is not off because when you buy more expensive fabric, that's usually the case. When you buy the lesser expensive fabric, such as what you may get out of Hobby Lobby, Joann, Walmart, that may not be the case because those are the lesser expensive fabrics and the dye may not be the same. It's just like with thread. When you're buying your thread, uh, some of the more prominent name brand threads tend to maintain the dye to be consistent, like a Madeira thread, a Floriani thread. I would think a Aston Robinson thread or a what's another one? Maybe the exquisite. I don't know because I haven't used that, but I know my Floriani and Madeira threads are very consistent. If you have that thread number, you can order that same exact color thread. And when it comes, it is going to match up with what you already have perfectly. Versus if you buy something like Sim thread or Bro thread or something off of Amazon, you may not get that lucky. You may get a totally different batch color of thread. So you have to be mindful of that. That's the same thing that can happen to you with your fabric. That's why if you see a fabric that you like a lot and you think you're going to make something big with it, it may be to your advantage to try to buy as much as you think you're going to need that you can afford. So you'll have it just in case you can't duplicate that fabric. Or you may be forced to try to find a complementary fabric, which is not bad, and use that. Robin, you say your favorite color is pink and you used to wear it all the time, and your niece started calling me pink hot. Yeah, we tend to do that. We tend to find a color that we like and we identify ourselves in that particular color. And you're not aware of it, but that tends to be what you will buy all the time. Now, I wanted to talk about a couple of sites that you can visit that if you want to know about the color wheel and how to choose fabric using your color wheel. Let me see if I can find. I hate when you know you have something and you can't find it. When you know you have it and you cannot find it, that makes me mad. Okay, one of the sites is Quiltdom, QUILTDOM.com. Quiltdom, like a quilt and dome, DOM. QUILTDOM. And it's a site, it talks about quilting for beginners, quilting machine, easy quilting pattern. But they talk about choosing colors for your quilt. And one of the tools that they talk about is the color wheel. And she is discussing 7 excellent color wheels for quilters to consider. And all 7 of the color wheels are on Amazon. And if you're interested in getting a color wheel, then I would recommend that you go to Amazon and check it out. One of them is the So Easy Color Wheel, which is what I showed you that I have. This one, it is the So Easy Color Wheel. And this is the one that you actually have, it actually has a cutout window where you can use to put it up against your fabric, and then you turn the wheel and you look at the complementary colors and stuff. And it says it's a color wheel made specifically for quilters. It's easy to use, the color wheel, and it has the entire color spectrum to help you choose the fabric for your next project. One of the features that makes this a unique color wheel is it has windows in each color quadrant. Using these windows, you can figure out what colors will go best with your chosen fabric. To use this particular feature, you place the color wheel over the fabric that you have chosen and view the material through the windows. This will help you visualize what color hues, shades, tones, and tints will look better with your fabric, because you're going to put the fabric through the hole and then you're going to turn the wheel and pick the complementary color or the tetrary and all of that kind of stuff, all of that, and then see if that works. So that is your color. So easy, comes in this little thing here, and there's a little tone thing which I have yet to figure out. You're supposed to hold this over and it's supposed to get the tone. Um, I had to figure out how to use that yet, but that is one of the color wheels. And I had to be honest about, I don't know which one of these color wheels I'm gonna keep, but I ain't gonna keep them all because I don't need them all. I will pick the wheel that I think is going to best work for me, and the other ones will be returned because I don't need them. I don't need all these color wheels. Um, then there is a Cox 3389 Creative Color Wheel. I don't have that one. It is on Amazon as well. Like I said, I looked up all of these color wheels, and they are all on Amazon at various prices, anywhere from $5 all the way up to, like, I think I saw like $15 or something along that line. Um, you have your shades and tints on opposite side, and it is helpful for you so you don't get too overwhelmed with the different colors. So you have the whole, it's very similar to this wheel with the colors and tones and tints going down so you can kind of have an idea. And you start with the lighter color going down to the darker color. The ones that are light are the ones that are mixed with white. The ones in the middle are mixed with gray. And the ones all the way to the bottom is mixed with black. And that's how they get the tints of your color. They also have one that is called Fool, Foolproof Color Wheel Set. And this was designed by a quilter, Kathy Fowler, and it helps you to coordinate your fabrics and colors. And it is easy to use. It comes with 10 discs to help you see the different types of color combinations. You can use this for quilting and other crafting uh, hobbies. Um, Color Harmony Wheel. So you get the idea. It is so many different wheels that you can choose from. This one is just called plain color wheel, and it is the most common one. I'm not sure I'm going to keep this one. I haven't decided yet because I think I'm not going to keep it because I just remember I do have the little bitty one. I got this one. I've had this one for quite a while. So this one I'll keep. The big one will go back. And I will be using my color wheel. And the one that I just told you about that's called color wheel, this color wheel has 12 primary, secondary, and tertiary color hues and their tones and their tints and shades. It's easy to read, and you spin the piece around and it helps you visualize the combination. It also has definitions, which is important so you can learn. I don't know if you can see the writing on here, but it has definitions um, and helpful tips printed on the spinner of the wheel, so you'll be able to have the information that you need to understand the wheel. So that is um, that particular wheel, and it's a very very common wheel. There was another site that I went to, and what was her site? Brian House Quilts. Brian House Quilt. This was interesting because she has a video. Well, they both for those sites. Brian White, Brian House, Bryan House Quilts. She has a video showing you how to make your own color wheel. You can print that out, and you can go and get some paint chips, or you can print out her chips that she put online that I did. I printed these out. I don't know if I'm gonna use them, cut them out and use them, but these different colors. I think I want to see if I can find some paint chips. But what I liked about what she was doing, she said create your own color wheel using the colors that you like. You put them in the correct categories for primary colors and secondary colors and what have you. You basically what she's suggesting is you get color chips, and when it comes down to green, you don't have to get the vibrant green. You don't have to pick whatever color green you like. That's what you put on your color wheel. Whatever color red you like, you put that on your color wheel, and your yellows and your so forth and so on. And you go through the whole color wheel process, but you're putting the colors that you like in the appropriate spot. And take a picture of it because you can always change it up. And this is what you will use to decide how what colors to pick. It's called Personal Color Wheel Worksheet. That's what this is. And you create your own. She has a instructional video showing you exactly how to do it and explaining why to do it, because what that will do is save your time from just scouring the entire fabric shop. because you will know what colors you really like, what colors speak to you. If you are a teal person, if you are a light gold person, if you are a cream color person, if you are a bright yellow or a Christmas tree green, whatever colors that speak to you, those are the colors that you will put on your wheel in the appropriate places. And then you would build from that. So when you go into a fabric shop, you'll know, kind of be able to narrow yourself down to those colors and pick from there the fabrics that speak to you to create your quilt, be it printed, solid, or a combination. And that will help you when you're selecting your fabric to make sure that what you pick is going to be pleasing to you because it's what you like. It's not what someone else says looks good together. Because if you go into a fabric shop, most of them have coordinating colors side by side, which is helpful. And you'll go in there and you'll see these colors stacked up next to each other. And you'll say, oh my God, this is so pretty. And I want this one, this one, this one, and you get it. And then when you get it home, you realize, I don't even like yellow. Why did I get this? But it was pretty, but it ain't you. That's not your thing. That's not what you like. You like pink, like Robin. You're not a yellow person, but you brought the yellow because it was cute. And they say, oh, this is wonderful. It'd be a beautiful quilt. Whereas you could have gone straight to the section that had the pinks in it and picked something that had some pinks in it and then built your quilt from something that was pink and complementary to pink. Not all pink, didn't have to be all pink, but something's pink and complementary to pink. And that would have made you something that you like a whole lot better because it's something that you really, really like. I know I went into Hobby Lobby the other day and I was trying to think about some fabrics that I wanted to make, to use to make my first quilt cut out with my AccuQuilt. And I saw some purples that were side by side. I didn't have a color wheel with me. And I'm just looking at it visually. And I pulled out 3 or 4 bolts. And I looked at it and I said, oh, this is so pretty. It's so pretty. Oh, I really like this. So pretty. And the more I thought about it, I said, girl, you ain't even a purple person. You like purple, but you don't like purple like that. So I didn't get it. And I'm glad I didn't get it because I would have bought I would have bought those uh, fabrics and brought it home, and it probably would end up in a drawer in somewhere, just sitting there waiting for me to decide I want to make a purple quilt or whatever. When purple is not my thing, I like purple, but do I like it well enough to make a quilt out of it? No, I don't think so. I don't know what really would speak to me well, because even with the pinks and teals and stuff and blues I have here, they're cute. I think they would make a cute quilt, but that's for me more more girly than what I want. And I'm pretty sure that's one reason why I've not cut it out and made anything out of it because I've had it for a while. I even cut it down, starched it and everything, and I was going to, make strips out of it and stuff. And I have yet to do that. Even since I had the AccuQuilt, I have yet to cut it because I have not emotionally decided I wanted to make anything out of it. So what does that say? Fabric that I bought that's cute that I like, but is it something that I really want to use to make something out of? And the other fabrics that I showed you guys, these pieces, I bought this a while back as well. I'm more into these than I am these pinks and blues over here. But I didn't buy a lot. I think I got a yard of each. So I don't know what I'm going to do, to be perfectly honest about it. I don't know what. I talk about use what you have. Don't be spending money buying stuff when you already got stuff, which is something that I definitely want to stick to. But what do you do when you um, don't have what you really want to do? Good night, Andrea. Thanks for stopping by. But what do you do when you're not so moved? Now, I know you guys say you love this paisley. There is absolutely no way in the world I would make a quilt out of this fabric. Absolutely not. It is way too busy for me for that. Is it pretty? Yes, and obviously I liked it. I bought it. I thought it was really cute. I bought quite a bit of it, but I couldn't see myself, even if I had enough of it, I couldn't see myself making a quilt out of it because it's too busy for me. This is not me. This is not me. This is more me, more subtle. So those are things that you have to think about when you are trying to decide what it is that you want to make and how you want to make it and how you're going to pick your fabric. So I just wanted to go over that a little bit. Robin says not too busy for a quilt. No, it's not too busy for a quilt. I agree with you, Robin. It is not too busy for a quilt. It is too busy for my quilt. I have seen many quilts with fabric that's busy, and they turn out to be absolutely gorgeous. It's just not my cup of tea. And that is the most important thing to keep in mind when you're buying fabric of any kind for anything that you're going to make, whether it's a garment, whether it's pillows or something that you're going to embroider or whatever it is that you're going to do, whatever project you're going to do. You need to know what makes you happy, what is tolerable. That this paisley, I like paisley. I do. I really do like paisley, but I only want a small amount of it. I could not have this all over my bed. Now, if I combine this with something that was less um, busy, I guess is the only word I can say that was had more of a solid, and it doesn't have to be totally solid, but not as dramatic as this. And I paired it with this, then yes, I could do that. I could, but this particular fabric could not, for me, could not be my main fabric. It could not be my main fabric because again, it's too busy. Now you say, okay, Shirley, what about this? These are in this. I consider this to be busy too. I would not want this to be an entire quilt. I probably would want to put something that has some solid in it, even if the solid is white or a lighter blue, or even pull out the yellow or green that's in the flower. Something along the line like if I used these and then did the hmm, what do you call the stuff that you put in between? Not the binding, but the other stuff that separates your blocks. Because I'm getting a blank right here. Um, the sashing. I guess that's the sashing. If I use a different color for sashing around the blocks, I could use a different color for sashing around blocks that this was made in. Then I could do that. I could do that. But all of this, I don't think I could. Now I remember Deborah made this beautiful black and white quilt with what is it? Half square, half triangles, half square triangles. I think that's what you call it. She used the charm packs and they were black and white. And she did the half square triangles for the entire quilt. She didn't put a sashing in there. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Once you see it completed, it's beautiful. I want me a black and white one. I was looking at black and white fabric. And the only reason I didn't get it, in all honesty, I didn't want to get polka dot. And I didn't want to get stripes because you have to buy extra fabric if you're going to have something that you got to match up. And they had some pretty floral, which was cool. I'd be okay with the floral. And they had polka dot and they had stripes and they had checks. And all I could think about, I didn't want polka dots. Polka dots would have worked. But the stripes and the checks for me meant extra fabric. And you got to cut it right and, whatever, whatever. And I didn't want plain. I didn't want a plain black or plain white. So I didn't get anything because I'm thinking in my head, how do I want to put this together? Because I thought about doing it like Deborah did without the sashing because, like I said, hers was absolutely beautiful. But the difference is she had a charm pack and somebody professional that knows how to put fabric and prints and stuff together did it. They put it together. It wasn't me. If you buy something that is professionally put together, like back quarter bundles or charm packs and things like that, then the chances of you messing up your quilt and making it where it doesn't flow well is less. When you're going to a fabric shop and you're picking it out on your own and you're not that familiar about matching up prints, then you risk not doing it coordinated the way that you might be happy with it. And it might take a little extra work. Not to say it can't be done, but it may take a little extra work because that's when you have to really do your layout and, as they say, audition your fabric and just lay it out and place it and see how you want it to flow and what you want to go together and then do it that way. And then it can work out really, really well for you. So, so what do you guys think about getting into the quilting thing? I know, Carol, you say you think you ain't gonna get into it. You're sounding like me. You're sounding like I was several months ago, where I said I wasn't gonna have anything to do with quilting because it's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm excited to use my AccuQuilt. I'm excited to use that and just to see how it's going to turn out getting these things together. But I know it's kind of fun because I did kind of play with it and I cut out these little bitty triangles, whatever you call. I think these are 2.5 inch square triangles that I cut it out. I just put just a little piece of scrap on there where I cut out the six, and then I did this one where I did the squares. And like everybody was telling me, it's so easy. You just stick the thing on there, and I'm going to do a video. I'll probably do the video tomorrow. But you just stick your fabric on there. It's a certain way that you need to put it on there and everything, and I'll show you guys all of that in the video. But you just stick it on there and you run it through, and voila, it is cut, and it's cut the way it's supposed to be cut. It's straight. That's what makes me happy. It's straight. We need an app to scan fabric in to see what it will look like. I'm excited too. I watched your two videos of unboxing. They were great. Well, thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it. I'm like I said, I probably do it tomorrow. That hopefully that's the plan. If nothing comes up and messes it up, sometimes when you plan something, it don't work out. But I'm thinking that I'm going to go ahead and do it tomorrow because what I may do, if I can make up my mind what project I want, because we do our sew along tomorrow, ladies, we do our sew along tomorrow, and we're supposed to do our active quilt. So you guys pull them out, have them ready for us tomorrow night. We're going to be cutting fabric. Leslie, did I call you out? Yeah. Did I put you up out there? Yeah, I did. I sure did. And Andrea done hopped off. And I'm gonna get her. She gonna pull hers out tomorrow too. I'm talking to people that have done just like me, haven't pulled them out. We pulling them out, and we gonna cut some fabric. Now, Leslie, I think you've used yours and cut fabric, so I think you've already done that. But I know Andrea has. Anyway, we're cutting fabric tomorrow night. But I have found this pattern that I'm thinking about doing, and I'll probably start cutting that tomorrow. She literally said, "Stop." All right, I'll leave you alone. I'll, I'll leave you alone. I'm sorry. My bad. But I'm going to probably start cutting out the fabric for this project that I saw uh, that I'm thinking about doing. The project is not too big, and that's what I was interested in. I didn't want to make a big whole great big old quilt and stuff because I don't think I have time for all that. Because like I told you guys, I'm moving, so I'm going to be getting ready to do some packing pretty soon. So I can't have any kind of project going on that's going to take me a long time to get done. So I think I'm ready to do that. Yes, I was going to say, Marissa, there is a software called EQ8, and I guess she mean it's been okay. Is that uh Marissa, you said we need a app to scan fabric in to see what it will look like. And Jenny, you said it is called EQ8. So, Jenny, explain that to me, please, or to us. I thought that there was something, but I'm not familiar with what it is. But I thought that there may have been something available. And I know Marissa is saying something that you can scan the fabric in, and I guess it looks at the colors and they say whether or not they're a perfect match or not so much a perfect match, but a good match. Is that the case? If so, can you elaborate on that just a little bit to enlighten us? Because um, you know how we like our texts and our little things, anything that can help that's going to make things turn out better for you. I think it's worth looking at because I have to tell you, when things are put in front of me that makes things easier, I'm more apt to do it. If I have to put way too much effort into it, it may not get done because I'm not going to want to put in all that effort and energy in trying to get it done. And as far as picking out fabric and stuff, I think I do relatively well, but I also know that I'm a little limited. Um, okay, Robin, you say you can design your own quilts, okay, with EQ8 software and put your fabric into the quilt designs. Okay, EQ8. You can design your own quilts with EQ8 software and put your fabric into the quilt design. Okay, I think I understand a little bit. So if you design your quilt, then you scan in the fabrics that you have chosen and you can see what the finished product is going to look like. Is that correct? EQ8. Is that just the name of it? I don't need anything but EQ8. And hi, my son next to you, LLC is on here. I saw you. I just hadn't stopped to say hi. So hi, my son is on here watching. Thank you for watching. Why isn't this coming up? Electric Quilt 8. That's the name of it. I am trying to get this to come up and it ain't doing nothing. Okay, here it is. Electric Quilt 8 design software of 2025. It doesn't look well. Okay. It on here they have a special offer $239 for it. Then they have an quilt 8 patterns $35. And here's one, well that's quilt to select design for $400. Block base. Electric quilt 8 $148, $214. Everybody got this thing for different prices. Carol, you say EQA sounds like magic. Oh, Jenny, you said you purchased yours from Amazon. It's less than you thought. Robin said, okay. I don't know anything about it, so I don't know if that's a good price or not. But I'm looking at Shabby Fabrics, and they have it in there. I think theirs is $200. Electric Quilt is the industry's go-to computer software for quilting design. From professionals to everyday quilter, EQ has all the right tools and features for every designer. You have it's a new look, new features, and new delivery. Can be installed and activated unlimited time, but only two computers can be activated at one time. And they have it for $214. That's at Shabby Fabrics. I wanted to know more about about the software. So, what do you guys actually do with this? It says quilt patterns and book, quilt print and digital. So, do you guys just create your own designs? Is that what you do with this software? It sounds interesting. Nothing that I'm gonna get because I ain't into it like that. But um, okay, it does have fabric in it, scanned fabric. So I guess you can put your fabric in there. So that kind of answers that question right there. You get your estimates. Sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. You say you can also download fabric swatches from certain manufacturers to the software. So you actually can plan out your quilt with the fabric design, the pattern, everything, and then you'll know exactly how much fabric you need to purchase and how it needs to be cut out, all of that kind of stuff. It sounds like an excellent companion to your active quilt, especially for people that quilt a lot. I could see you being much more efficient with making quilts with this software. So thank you for mentioning this. So see how we learn stuff? We learned about the dots on your salvage, but all fabric doesn't have it because I was looking at salvage on some of this stuff and ain't no dots on there. But if that's um, depending upon what fabric you buy, you may have that. And then with this Electric Quilt 8 or EQ8 software that you can buy, and it varies in price depending upon where you buy it from, but it is at least 200 or more dollars. Anywhere between 2 and 350 is what I'm looking at online. Um, Sounds very promising. So thanks for that information for anybody that is into the quilting. And Carol, you says it sounds like magic to you. That would be something that if you ever thought about actually getting into quilting, then it may not be something that it may be something that you want to look into. I know for me at this particular moment, it isn't anything I'm going to get right now, but I have to tell you, depending upon how my quilting uh, adventure goes within this year coming through, it might be something that I might be interested in getting down the line because I do like the component of the fabric part, being able to put your swatches in, being able to see exactly what your quilt is going to look like with that particular fabric that you selected. I think that's an excellent idea. I really, really do. And if you're talented enough to make your own designs, because I don't think I am, then that is another plus because you would definitely have a very personalized uh, quilt. Now, I do know that with the AccuQuilt, you get tons of patterns with your dies and with your cutting machine. And if you go online, they have free patterns. They have the ones that you can purchase, of course. So there is no shortage of finding patterns to make quilts out of. If you join quilting clubs and get quilt kits and what have you, then there's no shortage on that. I have to admit, I did sign up for a subscription with Miss Quilty, Mrs. Quilty, whatever. I haven't gotten my first box yet. I'm going to see how that looks, how that goes, if I'll keep the subscription or not. Not sure that I will, but I did want to just check it out because she's all over the place right now on Facebook. Every time you turn around, she's begging you to join. So 31 bucks a month, I decided I would give it a shot and see if it's something I'm interested in. I did watch a couple of her videos where she has the initial projects, and one's a pot holder, one is a just a block square, a block. I don't know if I'm gonna do either one of them. To be perfectly honest about it, I don't know. So I don't know if I'm going to keep the subscription or not. My thing was to get the material just to see what it's like, and if it's something I'm interested in. But we shall see. But I know there are people that do boxes from different places, Missouri Star, uh, different places and stuff. I don't know if I'm going to get into that or not, but um, I can see where you can get drawn into quilting quite easily. So it looks like I'm going to give this a little try to see if I will be able to make a quilt or two before the year is out. Now, once you get your top done, then the sandwiching and the actual quilting part, the edge to edge and all of that kind of stuff, and then putting the binding on and all of that kind of stuff. That's a whole different animal right there. Yeah, that's a whole different animal. And that's a lot of work too. So that again is something that, but it's just so good to see what the outcome is. That's what I liked about it. When I finished my little quilt, I was so proud of what I had done because I had never done a quilt before in my life. And just the outcome of it to say that I actually did a quilt from start to finish, I was quite pleased with it. And then when I see some of the ladies with the Soul On crew doing their quilts, I was like, dang, I can do that. Or I should be able to do it anyway. I need to get with the program here. So hopefully you guys got something out of the color wheel situation. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Don't forget, thumbs up. Gotta get the thumbs up. Gotta get the subscriptions, y'all. The share the video. Comments, questions. All of that is very much appreciated. It helps out a lot. I do still need you guys to let me know topics that you're interested in. It helps me. It helps me. It helps me. I need the help with that because I want to bring stuff to you that you are interested in that is helpful. So I try. And when you guys let me know what it is, it helps me out a lot. So please do put it in the comments. Go onto my YouTube page and go into the comment area because if you didn't put it on tonight, you definitely have time to do it on on the um on the channel and just tell me, Shirley, talk about this or what about that or I have a question about this or how you do this or what's your opinion about so and so or have you experienced this or if you had this, would you do this or what? Any of those kinds of things. And then we can talk about it. We can talk about it and share and get information like we did tonight. We learned about the EQA, didn't know anything about it. We were reminded about the dots on the salvage. I had totally forgotten about those things. And I don't know if you guys knew about it or remembered or anything. So those are things that make it helpful. And even with using the color wheel, some of you have them, some of you use them, and some of you don't use them, and some of you have them and they never use them. So, it doesn't hurt to refresh yourself with these things. So, with all of that being said, it is now 10:05. I am going to go ahead and sign off for the night. I do thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Don't forget to give me thumbs up, please. And thank you so much. Great information tonight, Shirley. Good night, everyone. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. And I will see the rest of you guys next week if it's the Lord's will. And hopefully I'll come up with something that you guys asked me about. So with that being said, I'm going to say good night. You guys take care and have a wonderful rest of your week and try your best to stay warm. Good night, everybody.